Well, welcome back out to the forge today. And even though you work two jobs, you still have to do things around the house. So I got the mowing done. I've also handled about 3 knives today. I've got a few sheaths to do. But before I start working on that leather, I was given a sign for my recent birthday. And here's a pic. So I'm going to make a hanger so I can put that right outside the doorway to my forge. Can't make knives every day. I'll get back on those tomorrow. It's just a little project. Hope you enjoy. Going to be doing a little artistic smithing. Going to forge a leaf on one end, make a couple of bends, make a way to hang it. So just keep an eye out. Maybe you'll learn something. If not, I just hope you enjoy watching. Thanks. And here's our sign. And I want to hang it above, outside the front door of my forge. Just want to hang it from the top. Looks like I need about 11 5/8 inches center to center on the hanging tabs for the holes. So I'm going to start out with a piece of 1/2 inch round stock and just draw a short point. Notice how I'm turning that 90 degrees each time, just drawing out a short point, drawing out a square point. Now I'm going to isolate that point from the main stock and draw it out in a taper. Now you'll notice I'm still working square. Smack it a time or two, turn it a quarter turn, smack it a time or two, turn it a quarter turn. Now we've got our isolated area established, and we'll draw out that taper a little bit longer. I want a nice, long, smooth taper. Like I said, this is just a piece of 1/2 inch round. That's like 25 millimeter for those of you that aren't in the U.S. And it was around 26 inches long. I don't know, I didn't measure it, just whacked it off a longer piece of stock. But I think it's going to work out fine. So I want that taper nice and long. Draw it out a little longer there. Notice I'm sliding the stock under the hammer. I'm not chasing the stock around with the hammer. I'm not moving the hammer at all. Swinging the hammer in the same spot and moving the stock under it. Now I'm going to even it down and make sure everything's flat. Make sure everything's even, and now I'm knocking the corners down. So I want to sort of kind of semi-round that squared area there off. I don't want it really completely round. I want it a little bit rough because I want to keep that sort of organic look. So I went from square to octagonal. That's good enough for just a rough look, and now I'm just rounding it up. Straight, good enough. Wipe off the old anvil. And now we're going to smash our point. You can see I'm spreading it out to either side using the rounding face of the hammer into a nice leaf shape. Just right. Now I'm going to warm that back up and using a cross peen hammer. Where is the cross peen hammer? It's around somewhere. There it is. I'm just going to add a little texture to the edges. Doesn't have to look like a specific leaf. It just has to look a little leaf-like. Good enough for my purposes. It's getting too cold. Got to warm it back up. Not really trying to put veins in the leaf, just adding texture. Yep, I believe that'll do. Now I'm going to take a ball peen hammer and this piece of wood and smack the leaf down into that burned out recess a few times to just add a little contour and a little more texture to the leaf. And let's curve it around a little bit. Make it look more interesting. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now that's going to be the end of my hanger. So I need to make some holes to hang it with. And just a second ago I realized that my fullering tool, I had broken it and never repaired it, so this is a fullering tool I use under the power hammer sometimes. And I just used it to fuller in a recess on both sides of the round stock. Can't really see it in the camera, but now you can see it since it's cooled off. Now I need 11 5/8 between that recessed area and the next recessed area. So I'm just marking that with a chisel. And we'll fuller in another groove right on the chisel mark. That'll do. Just kind of even things up a little bit, straighten it up. Now I'll drill holes through there to mount my hanging rings. Yep, just right. Now I'm going to need to bend the back edge of that down 90 degrees so I can mount it to the wall. So I'm just rough figuring on where I need to bend, and I'll mark that. Now that's where I need my 90-degree bend. But I've got to nail or screw this to the wall, so I'm going to need some little recessed areas in the part that's actually going to take the nails or screws. So I'm just driving the steel down onto that little piece of round bar to make my little recess. There's one for the top screw or nail and one for the bottom nail. There we go. Now I'll get it back hot. I'll level it up here and then I'll get it back hot. And I'm going to do the bending actually in the vise. I think you can all figure out how to bend something like that in a vise, so I didn't bother to put it on camera. No need to bore you with inconsequentials. I've got my mark, and there I bend it in the vise. Now we're just evening it back up. That's going to be fine. Let's get it mounted. Alright, so we need rings to hang the sign. I didn't have any small stock, so I'm just knocking the flux off a couple of welding rods. And that's what I'm going to use to make my hanging rings. Put my ring bending jig in there. And around we go. One ring. Tap it down a little bit. Warm the other end up. Around and around we go again. And that's going to be our second ring. And I can just nip those off with cutters. and we'll have 2 perfectly round rings, and there they are. So there's our sign, already mounted, hanging up right outside the door. You can see our rings we forged, a little leaf finial, and the way I knocked in the recesses to nail it up. That'll do just fine. Okay, so we've got our sign hanger done. We've got our sign hanging, good enough. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it wasn't forging a knife, and I forge a lot of knives. But it's good to do something different once in a while. Now, I could have taken my time and done a lot cleaner work on the forging and made it look a lot nicer, but it was for me, so it didn't have to be all that nice. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you know when we get new content, and leave us a comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe you've got an idea for something you'd like to see in a future video. Let us know. Thanks for watching. God bless and have a great evening.